Teaching strategies for students with special needs. So first, what is the purpose of special education? Special education is an intentional intervention designed to mitigate the challenges that keep students with learning disabilities from understanding concepts. So, there are three types of special education interventions. Number one, preventive interventions. Number two, remedial interventions. Number three, compensatory interventions. So first, preventive interventions. This form of special education aims to either stop something from happening or reduce a condition that has been identified. So, for instance, preventing manic episode in students with bipolar disorders by maintaining a specific schedule. Second is the remedial interventions. The main goal here is to eliminate the effect of disability by equipping students with the skill that allow them to function on their own successfully. So, for instance, teaching a student with ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorders to develop an encounter point into activities improving their level of task initiation. So, third, the compensatory intervention. This entails providing students with learning disability a special device that non-disabled children do not need. So, for instance, giving a child with autism phonetic spelling software designed to automatically convert the student typing into the word they intended to write. So, how to adapt your teaching strategies for students with special needs? So, number one, ready student for upcoming lesson. Discuss and establish learning expectation. So let students know what they learn during the lesson and how much time they need for each activity. So for instance, today we will read about we will read a short story and identify new vocabulary words in the story.
And for today's discussion, I will just give or share some ideas about how to adopt teaching strategies for students with special needs. So first, we have this what we call conducting effective lesson. So under this, we have the first strategy, which is review the previous lessons. Okay, conducting effective lessons. Of course, you need to like what I've said, review the previous lessons. If you covered how to regroup in subtraction in the last or in the past lessons, so review several problems before jumping into the current lesson. Okay? Bago ka mag-discuss ng panibagong lesson, recall first the previous lessons. So second, during reading sessions, you need to remind or get students to take down notes or take down the key sentences only on a separate piece of paper before asking for a summary of the entire discussion or the entire book that you discussed. So third is help the students participate during the lesson. Agree on special cues or for students with special needs to help them para mag-focus and para ma-prepare yung answer and question when called upon. It could be something as simple as slide path on the back or sticky note on their desk. So, fourth, don't trust your students with special needs. Okay? Try to ask them probing questions or yung mga simple questions only after they have had enough time to solve the problem or the questions na binigay mo sa kanila. So, moving on, check the student's performance. Okay, paano ba natin ito gagawin? So you need to ask them questions, of course. Question individual students with special needs. For them, for you to know if na-master ba talaga nila yung content ng lessons. Okay, for example, as the students do their sit work, um, like lesson completed by students at their desk in the classroom, ask them to demonstrate the formula they use to arrive at the answer to a math problems. For example, sa math problems. Okay? So last, of course, provide follow-up directions. After instructing the entire class, you need to provide additional oral directions for students with special needs. For instance, ask them whether they understood the directions and repeat them together.
Concluding lesson. Let students know when the lesson is about to end, preferably 5 or 10 minutes beforehand. Go over assignments with students to gauge their understanding and offer pointers on how to prepare for the next lesson. Next, I will discuss the teaching tips and strategies. The first is set the tone from day one. So when the students first walk into our class for day 1 of the new term, let each of them know that all students are welcomed and valued, and that the class will work as a team to lift one another. So include this concept in any class materials and review it regularly. The next one is structure lesson plans to support inclusivity. So rather than creating separate activities or learning plans for students with disabilities, so consider how we can include disability services in the general plan, and where we might be able to educate all learners about disabilities through the voices of those who experience them. So the next is communicate clearly with the students and parents. So at the start of the school year, or at the start of each week if necessary, clearly let our students know what our expectations in terms of assignments and deadlines. Also, share this information with the parents so they can support their children in being successful. Next is partner students with disabilities with the students who do not have disabilities. Peer mentoring is a wonderful resource for teaching social skills, problem solving, and independence. It allows both students with disabilities and those without to appreciate each other for their strength and to learn from each other's experience.
So another tips and strategies for students with special needs is allow all students to work on the same assignments. Why? Inside the classroom, if you have a learner that has special needs, it's a must that you, as a teacher, will lead your all students to work together on the same assignments. For that, para ma-feel nung estudyante na may special needs na belong siya sa loob ng klase. Kasi because of collaboration of each student, mas nagaganahan at mas namomotivate yung estudyante na may special needs na mag-aral ng mabuti. Rather than setting them different projects, assign the same ones but allow the students with special needs to work towards the goals in different ways. Use accommodations to help them feel like they are part of the class rather than separate. So another tips is assume your student can do something until proven wrong. Many times, students with disabilities are not given the benefit of the doubt when it comes to their abilities. So, as a teacher, let all your students have a chance to shine. Support them when they do not succeed. And never assume a student cannot do something without seeing for yourself. So next is how can you support your students
in the classroom. First is stay organized. Creating an organized classroom with minimal distractions can help students feel focused without adding unnecessary structure. So inside the classroom, teacher must always clean and organize the classroom like the chairs, tables, and others. Para sa ganon is maiwasan ang distraction ng mag-aaral sa pag-aaral. Teachers can create systems for helping students organize their notebooks. Gaya nung elementary tayo, nilalagyan ng teacher yung mga notebooks natin according sa mga subjects, while also making space for them to take a body break if they feel overwhelmed. So second is know that each student is unique. As a teacher, remember that each student learns differently. Some need visuals, while others is need to get in there and kinesthetically feel true learning. So may mga estudyante na natututo sa paraan na nanonood lang. Ang iba naman ay natututo sa paraan na nakikinig lang, at mayroon din yung natututo sa paraang with action. So, allow your students lots of opportunities to explore this subject in different ways.
Third is keep simple instruction. Make sure your instruction is very clear. Don't jump from one topic to another without following a clear structure or mentioning the links between the topics or lesson material. Explain everything chronologically and only start building on the next step when the previous one is understood by your students. Ask lots of questions to measure understanding. Just keep the learning goals close so you know where you are going. Split the larger learning goals into small learning goals. Teach those small learning goals in a structured way. 4. Create opportunities for success. Students with special need can often feel like they struggle to succeed. So, create opportunities for them to recognize and celebrate their accomplishments. Creating lessons that lead to positive results and introducing rewards can help them to stay motivated. The success of a teacher is determined by the success of their students. Maintain high standards for your students, believe in their ability to succeed, and ensure that you push them to the utmost. Encourage them to try again and work harder even if they fail. This method aids you in pushing students to out of their comfort zones so that they can chase success knowing that you would be there to help them succeed. As what I've said, the success of the teacher is mostly influenced by achievements of their students. As a result, you must work with your students to establish goals and objectives. After that, collaborate with them to achieve these objectives as a team. 5. Don't feel pressure to be perfect. Pressure to do well at school has been shown to increase stress and anxiety in students, leading to poorer physical, social, and emotional health. Students can feel pressure from their parents, school, teachers, society, or themselves to achieve higher grades and academic success. Recognizing the signs of stress and anxiety in our students, helping them to develop practical coping skills, working in partnership with parents, reinforcing the importance of balance, and establishing realistic expectations are all helpful approaches school can take to support students who feel pressure to do well academically. Set clear and realistic expectation for classwork, exam, and assessments. Share help-seeking strategies students can use if they feel overwhelmed. Remind students that a growth mindset where failure is seen as an opportunity for growth and learning.